Dawn Staley, 42-17. And it is the very first time in this position for TCU.
And Mark Campbell talked to us about that.
And Prince, it's also Madison Connor, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the game. So that's their three-headed monster. And the jumper is good from Taylor Bigsby for three.
The hard dive sucks the weak side, and that opens up wide open looks. Bigsby knocks it down.
There's the USLBM starting lineup for South Carolina. Started out at Oregon playing for TCU head coach Mark Campbell when he was an assistant there. He had a big hand in her recruitment, and now on opposite sides. And Bree Hall off the bounce. Wide open look for Raven Johnson. Those are the shots that Dawn Staley needs her to start knocking down. Her field goal percentages have been way off. Donovan Hunter, Pow doesn't let her get back to the middle of the floor. And now coming off the handoff, high off the window for the sophomore out of Medford, Oregon, who transferred in from Oregon State. Pow got Prince in the air with the ball fake, couldn't get it down, and then she gets the rebound and looking for the assist, and another missed gimme. Pow, a fourth chance, and they get it.
The challenges that they've set themselves up for, and she talked about that UCLA matchup earlier in the season and just how they got exposed. And UCLA certainly played really well, but what this team has to take from that and understand that they have a target on their back. They've got to be ready to play every night.
Watkins with a nice pass from Fulwiley after Van Lith scored on the dribble drive.
Now, UCLA certainly played really well, but what this team has to take from that and understand that they have a target on their back. They've got to be ready to play every night.
Watkins with a nice pass from Fulwiley after Van Lith scored on the dribble drive. Such a tremendous talent to come off the bench for them. They'll go 10 deep. I mean, the depth is incredible. MiLaysia off the hesitation and off the window. Could be spectacular at that end as well.
She doesn't think she's reaching her potential on the defensive end of the floor, but she's so creative in her.
Fulwiley left wide open and makes them pay.
But she's such a tough cover because you got to give her space. And there was miscommunication on the dive by Joyce Edwards, and MiLaysia Fulwiley knocking down an open three.
Timeout for TCU.
Now you've got to drive and drop and drive and kick. There are capable three-point shooters on the perimeter as well.
Watkins swatted by Prince. And then the steal by Watkins to take it right back. Prince giving chase, and Watkins with the dunk.
We talked about it, multiple levels of effort. Ashlyn Watkins gets back into play, and look at her checking for the D behind, sizing it up and throwing it down. What a play by Ashlyn Watkins.
Here comes Fulwiley the other way. She lays it up and in. Here comes Fulwiley the other way. She lays it up and in. Watkins doesn't give up, runs back for the steal, and then throws one down.
That's right, gets back into play, multiple levels of effort. That's how you get more time on the floor for Dawn Staley.
And Van Lith says, we'll trade you the 2 for 3.
We got some people still trickling in. The doors didn't open very early here, so lots of folks still trickling in.
Knocked away by Prince.
They can give you lots of production, and they can play a lot of different versatile lineups that make it tough to defend.
There's one of those bench players, Tessa Johnson.
And Tessa Johnson just coming off the quick little pin down. Worked on this today and shoot around, no hesitation.
And she was on the all-Final Four team last year in that big championship game. Pow on the drive, got it. Fagan, mid-range, good, right over Prince. Fagan, mid-range, good, right over Prince. Van Lith, the lob inside to Prince, tried to one-time it, may have gotten blocked by Pow. Fagan with the position, and they beat the big girl down the floor.
When you play 10-11 deep, it allows you to play at the pace you want for 40 minutes. And South Carolina right now taking advantage.
It will be their 25th top 10 matchup.
I called that game last year. It was so much fun.
Of course, Gino now the winningest coach of all time, seeking a 12th national championship, and Haley Van Lith with a couple of buckets in a row.
To find her rhythm. Early in this ball game, shooting some off-balance shots. Now she slows down. That little hesitation to read is the rotation.
Mark Campbell talked about a maturity that he's only seen once before, and that was with Sabrina Ionescu when he was an assistant at Oregon. And now a little head bob to the scorer's table. Kitts, offensive rebound. Johnson rattles in her second three of the day.
Those are the ones right there I think Dawn Staley would prefer MiLaysia Fulwiley to attack.
Yes.
Right, it's a contested three. She's got terrific quickness. There's a drive to the rim, the rotation comes. That dive gets you a layup, and that is a strong finish.
8 different players have scored, as the women alluded to in the studio. Kitts, tough pass there, and here is Van Lith. Oh, Watkins wasn't expecting that pass. Johnson hits. Under 3 minutes to go in this first half. Bree Hall will try from outside and hit.
Campbell switching it up to the zone. South Carolina doing a good job of shifting the zone, and then Bree Hall running free on the baseline. You went with Bree the Cat instead of Bree the Dog?
Bree the Gamecock. Oh, a clean pick by Fulwiley, and she'll head the other way.
Numbers are not used to what we're seeing from a South Carolina program. And again, it's figuring it out again with no post player there protecting the paint for you. It's going to come like this, a lot of on-ball defensive.
And South Carolina just a dominant defensive showing. Another takeaway. Bree Hall's got it. Hall. Joyce Edwards rattles it in. The freshman from Camden, South Carolina, with her first basket.
They average almost over 10 made threes a game. They've got 2. So just not getting what they're used to getting, and you got to give South Carolina defense a ton of credit for that.
Kitts and Fagan. She stays in the game with 3 fouls. Pow Pow on the drive with Prince pulled away from the rim. Had a shooter weak side as well.
She did, and Bigby had a 45-degree cut right to the rim for a layup. South Carolina able to push transition off of missed shots as well as turnovers, and Raven Johnson.
A lot of turnovers from the backcourt. Van Lith, Watkins stuffs that and takes it right away. And now some numbers here for TCU. And another takeaway, Watkins, and the breakout for Fulwiley.
Do what she wants to do. This swarming defensive effort for South Carolina continuing in the third quarter. Another easy 2 for the Gamecocks. Process, and sometimes, and you mentioned it, a loss like the one that they had to UCLA, and UCLA played so well, and UCLA is an NCAA title contender. Locks you back into focus a little bit. Gives you a reality check.
Godfrey from the corner, knocks that down. An assist for Van Lith, her 4th. Pow Pow, got it.
You think about those teams that have like a big 2, the tandems, right, or the big 3s that you have to really make sure that you're preparing for.
Connor off the crossover. And the pick for Wiley.
And ways to get to the backside. And this is a long cross-court pass. Those are pick 6s all day long.
15 for Malaysia now. TCU has already hit their season high, 17 turnovers, and we've still got a full quarter to go. Tough fade by Watkins over the shot blocker. Top 25, by the way. I think that's a shoe-in tomorrow for the Lady Vols.
Talking about a team that forced 30 turnovers, 42 points off of those turnovers against Iowa.
McDaniel. Edwards, the spin for the shot and gets the bounce. Story of this one, the balanced attack offensively, but the defense for South Carolina has really been smothering.
And the primary ball handlers, and TCU is a team that really has done a great job, second in the nation in assist to turnover ratio. But Madison Connor and Haley Van Lith combined for 13 here tonight, and South Carolina's just put the pressure on them.
This is the second unit for South Carolina, which could be the starting five in most other places. That's the kind of depth they have played with to open up the season. Pow, pow, behind the back, and the teardrop.
Dawn Staley talked about her development, particularly on the defensive end of the floor, but that as well. When she was at Oregon, we saw her as a primary ball handler. She attacked the rim a lot, scored in the two-point buckets, as Sedona Prince gets one right there.
The high basketball IQ.
Absolutely. And she was just in town supporting South Carolina in their game against Duke as well. So #1 fan, #1 alum. Just look at how they're swarming on Sedona Prince on the inside, and the first three for Madison Connor. Just look at how they're swarming on Sedona Prince on the inside, and the first three for Madison Connor.
There's a breakthrough for her. Fulwiley tried to feed Tack. You got fresh legs. I only think there's one starter that averages over 25 minutes. And another takeaway. On the run, Fulwiley lays it up and in.
Having this conversation about what it takes, the sense of urgency that it takes, the detail, the consistency that it takes game in and game out.
Tessa Johnson, quick to pull that trigger. Van Lith, this time goes to the left side for the lay-in. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 have gotten into the game, 10 have scored. Fulwiley with a rejection.
Getting ready to time this the entire time. She's checking it, she's timing it. No change in pace.
From Notre Dame hosting UConn, the next big matchup in women's basketball, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Three ball is good from Bigby. Notre Dame hosting UConn, the next big matchup in women's basketball, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Three ball is good from Bigby. And the Gamecock fans on their feet applauding this big road win. 85-52, your final. As #3 South Carolina takes down #9 TCU. The Horned Frogs suffer their first loss of the season. They'll fall to 9-1. South Carolina will improve to 9-1.